morning, all. Good morning, all. CD here. You know what I mean? It's 1 a.m., April 19th, on the mainland. Hoorah. I woke up from my sleep. I was sleeping good, too, y'all. I was sleeping good. But, just a random wake up. And, the doctors recommend when you wake up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep, don't just lay in the bed because you might not be able to fall back to sleep like that. They recommend to get out the bed and do something productive and then try to get back in the bed and then try to fall back asleep. So I got about another 5.5 hours before I got to rise and grind for my 9 to 5. So I figure I get a thought off my mind and maybe that would help me to get back to sleep. What y'all think? How y'all doing today? What's going on out there? Y'all doing good out there? I'm doing pretty good over here in Jersey, man. We chilling over here, man. Very productive day today. Went to my sister's house and knocked out some HVAC work. Y'all know what HVAC work is? I didn't know what HVAC work is. If y'all look back into some of my YouTube videos and some of my lives, y'all, I tell y'all a little bit about me. But for y'all who might be tuning in for the, as new followers and y'all don't have a history of me, I was a drug trafficker. Shameful to say, but I was a drug trafficker, and I got caught, and I did my time. I told the police it was mine, and I did my time. Even though I did have a code D, rest in peace, my boy Schemes. But that's just how we did it. You know what I'm saying? If I got caught with the work by myself and I'm out of state, why drag my mans into it? For what? You know what I'm saying? I'm going to take the hit, let my mans keep rolling on, making the bread. When I get home, when I land on my feet, I know he got me. And he did get me when I got landed on my feet. He had my beat, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, it's a whole nother story. But now I'm an HVAC technician. HVAC technician is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, and refrigeration. I went to school for it, 11 months. And at first, I just wanted to get a job. I didn't think I was actually going to be good at the stuff, I just wanted a productive career. And a friend of my father's, Joe Batita. Joe, where you at out there? How you doing out there, Joe? Joe Batita. Joe Batita, he was the president of New Jersey Lawyer Service. Convinced me to do HVAC because I was going to do truck driving. My father thought I should do truck driving. But my father went off to war, his second tour in Iraq, for 9/11. Joe Batita wanted to talk to me to see how I was doing and making sure I was staying out of trouble. So he called me into his office at Lawyer Service, and he said, "Hey, Cristino, sit down. What's going on? How you doing? Staying out of trouble?" And I was scared of Joe like a father. You know what I'm saying? Joe was like a father to me growing up. He always looked out for me. Him and Savino Russinello always looked out for me in different ways. Savino kept me out of trouble, and Joe just tried to keep my mental straight. So shout to those fellas, Savino Russinello, Joe Batita, love y'all. They were my mentors, my male mentors growing up. Unconsciously, I didn't know that they were my male mentors way back. I never picked up on that idea of male mentorship, that they were my male mentors until way, when I, grew up, actually when I went to jail and did programs in jail to try to better my mindset for when I got out of jail. Because I knew when I was in jail, that when I got out, I didn't want to do this no more. I didn't want to put my mom through this no more. I realized that all the homies and all the shorties I had in the street, because all the money I was getting, none of them wrote me, came to visit me. Some of my niggas did, some of my homies did. Like my core homies I still fuck with today. But you got the other cats, I get help, gave work so they could get on their feet. None of them wrote me, none of them. And it didn't bother me. It just made me realize who I was living for and who I should be living for. Right? So I decided to change the direction of my life from living for individuals such as my homies to living for individuals like my mother and my father and what Joe would think was an individual that he would respect. And Savino. I started living for those people. So in jail, I did programs to help me overcome some of the mental obstacles that were in my way in order for me to change the direction of my life. It was called Green Tree Program. It was a lifer program ran by lifers in jail. Yeah, it was ran by inmates. It was no joke. You know, I'm talking about, shout to Khalif. Shout out to Khalif. He ran the program. He was doing life, 16-year-old. At 16 years old, he caught a murder. Big time dope dealer in Wilmington, Delaware. Killed the dude that killed his father when he was a kid. Somebody killed his father by mistake. It wasn't even, I don't even. If I'm telling the story right, I don't believe it was the bullet was meant for his father, but it did get his father. And eventually, he found that person when he was starting to get money through the dope game, and he killed him. By law, he got life in jail. You know, if you go by the Old Testament of the Bible, really he ain't do nothing wrong. But anyway, moving on. The point that I'm trying to make is I thought I had the idea or the thought, if you look at my IG, my Instagram or EdRec Center, check me out on EdRec Center Instagram. That's EDREC_CENTER, EdRec_Center on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn, TubeIn, our EdRec Community Podcast. But you'll see some pictures of some work that I did or performed in HVAC. So it made me think, it had me start thinking, maybe we should incorporate, maybe not in its totality, because I think my building, the EdRec Center, is full with extracurricular activities. So I don't think I could really fit too much in there, but I was thinking maybe like twice a month or once a week or something like that, we could have a special event night for the children or event day for the children when they come to the EdRec Center that they could participate in, like on the main level somewhere or something. Maybe we could have like one big room that's kind of just like an empty room. Not empty, but you know, we do different stuff within that room on the main level. And I was thinking like a workshop day, you know, for the young men. Where we can introduce them to tools, because there's a lot of young men that are handy, and instead of them using their skills in a productive manner, they're out here stealing cars, they're breaking in houses, they're doing jewelry heist overnight when the jewelry stores is closed, breaking the code, tapping into the security systems. You know what I'm saying? These little kids are smart as fuck. I'm telling you, man. I know, because, you know, I know. I ain't gonna speak on why I know, because he doing time right now, and I don't know what charges is pending, and I think he's fighting some other stuff while he in jail. But you know, I know people that do this kind of stuff, man. They good at this stuff. You know, they could crack codes and little safes and rewire shit. You know, shut your alarm off, rewire your shit so it shut off. You know. Like I'm telling you, man, they look this stuff up on YouTube. I don't know how they figure this stuff out, man. But these kids nowadays, man, they smart, man. The kids are real smart and handy. So I was thinking, maybe once or twice a week, we could take the young men and women. You know, let's not get it messed up. Some of these young women out here, they get with their hands too, as far as, you know, being mechanically inclined. So whatever students want, we could do a workshop within the EdRec Center to bring awareness to the different trades that these children might be prosperous in. Because think about that. You could go to the trade school for like $13,000 after, you know, because you get federal grants. After your federal grants, you pay like $13,000. You get your trade, you get out of school. And if you good, in about 5-6 years, you could be making like $80,000, $100,000 a year. You land with the right company. But even if you don't, you could definitely be making at least $50,000, $60,000 a year, which ain't bad either to start. I came into the field getting $15.50 an hour. Now I'm making almost triple that. You do the math. So I'm just saying, you know, it's you know, that was 9 years ago. 9 years ago. So what am I going to be making in another 5 years? There's no cap on this kind of stuff. I mean, we're growing more valuable by the day. HVAC technicians, electricians, carpenters, plumbers. We're growing more valuable by the day because the older people are getting old, retiring, moving out. They can't handle the workload anymore that these companies need you to do. I mean, it's laborious. As you get older, your body just can't take it. So they need new young people coming in, good ones. And if they can't find them, then people like me exploit them for more money. That's a joke. That's a joke, y'all. But what y'all think about that, man? A workshop at the EdRec Center once or twice a week to show these young men another route that they could take to make money besides selling drugs, stealing cars, breaking in houses, and performing jewelry heists and such like that. That's going to land them in jail, mess up their record, and then they'll be fighting an uphill battle just to get a good job later on in life when they want to clean their life up. What y'all think about that? Shoot me an email. cdiaz@edreccenter.com. That's cdiaz@edreccenter.com. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you think. What you think about the workshop, y'all? What y'all think? I think that's an ingenious idea. A workshop once or twice a week for the young men and women. But first, we have to get the EdRec Center built before we can even incorporate a workshop. How are we going to do that? Go to my website. Check out my business plan pitch. www.edreccenter.com, no underscore. www.edreccenter.com. EdRec Center, one word. edreccenter.com. Go to my website. Check out the business plan pitch. Check out the location I proposed for the first EdRec Center to be built. You like that idea? Sign a petition. There's plenty of links on the website that'll redirect you to change.org. I know the change.org picture, I think it's a picture of me. I tried to make it a picture of the building concept and stuff, but I'm busy, y'all. I'm doing a lot of different things at once. So I can't fix tweak every little thing on every little website and every little petition, website and all that kind of stuff. But the groundwork is laid. Help me out. The more petition signatures that I get, the more confident I will feel walking into the Prudential building downtown Newark and requesting either all or most partial of the funding. Before the location that I think would be a great location for it to get built is used to build a senior citizen home. I ain't knocking senior citizens, I'm just saying. What's more important, the ones on the way out or the ones on the way in? That sound harsh, y'all? Let me say that one more time. Who is more important to our community? The ones on the way out or the ones on the way in? I don't think either is more important as far as the knowledge maybe aspect of it. But bottom line is nowadays, our old heads ain't what they were back in the 1800s and back in the days of like back in Africa. Our elders here aren't what they are in the mainland. When I say the mainland, I mean the mainland for black and brown people. That would be Africa, right? Israel. But anyway, we ain't gonna go there. All right, but what I'm saying is here, our senior citizens just get drunk, hang out in front of the senior citizen building, play chess. They're not doing nothing for our youth, for the next generation coming up. So yes, they're important, but I think what's more important is that our next generation be prepared to take on our societal issues, our community issues, and tackle them. And we have to prepare them to do that. Keep our families together, to understand what it takes to keep a family together, our young men. And the opportunities out there that they have financially, besides robbing, stealing, and selling drugs. edreccenter.com. Check out the website, business plan pitch, sign a petition, make a change. It takes a village to raise a child. We are one community. Let's have one consistent voice and be great, because that is what you are. Thank you. YouTube, I was just logging out of IGTV. You know, I like to give y'all just a little bit more because I have a little more time with you, and it also brings value to YouTube. And then the individuals watching on YouTube, I like to call it tubing in or tube in to my YouTube channel. Hit the little subscribe button down at the bottom. Click on that. The more subscribers that I have, I can make my YouTube channel official. Meaning, you know, I could like actually put in the paperwork and I could become an official like YouTuber, right? I ain't looking for the financial gain aspect of it, but the more I can legitimize myself as a nonprofit corporation, the more highly likely chance that I have of gaining the funding that I need. I had another individual also ask me about the possibility of opening a GoFundMe, GoFundMe kind of thing where everybody can put money towards the EdRec Center and it getting built. I think that's a great idea. I don't think I have the followers to substantiate that. Also, if I was to go do something like that, I would want each individual who puts their money towards the EdRec Center to gain something from that. Be it a profit share, a stake within the corporation when it does get built. And I don't know how we'll be able to track that. So that's why I have a pause on taking people's money. Because I don't want to just take people's money and the EdRec Center never get built. And what happens to your money? It just sits there. I don't know what will happen to your money. Right? So I just have to do more research and development into that. Because the EdRec Center is such a groundbreaking idea that sometimes I don't think it's going to get built. But I'm still going to talk about it because even if it doesn't get built, hopefully my conversations, my experiences that I've endured and me sharing them and talking about them to the masses, or at least the individuals that it reaches, hopefully that's enough to make change, the change that I'm talking about. Because that's the end-all be-all goal. So in my heart, I believe that the EdRec Center will get built one day. One day where I can cut the ribbon or at least lay the first rock or stone or piece of cement or pour the first piece of cement for it. In my heart. But in my mind, I understand who the EdRec Center primarily looks to help. And I understand who runs this country. And realistically, like Pac said, they don't give a fuck about us. So my mind understands that concept. And it may never get built because of that. But if I go bleach my skin or something like that, I don't know, it might get built. I go Michael Jackson on y'all, it might get built, man. You know, I always add a little comedic relief into it, but I'm also speaking the truth. If I were white and I had this idea, I would be praised like Elon Musk or Bill Gates. But because I'm a brown individual and I have this great idea, I'm just a rambling fool. But what brings me comfort in being a rambling fool is that Thomas Edison was also called a rambling fool. Did you guys know that Thomas Edison also did a lot of male mentorship for black young men? And opened their mind to science and how it works more so. And he would prefer to go and speak with young black men as opposed to young white men or women. Did you know that about him? I think it's because he was portrayed as an outcast, and so were they at that time, and even now, I guess, to an extent. And I think he found a connection there where he and they were both outcasts. So I think he felt more comfortable speaking in front of other individuals labeled outcasts. So that's an interesting tidbit about Thomas Edison. When I learned that about him, which I didn't know either until recently. I don't know everything, but I research a lot, especially with the EdRec Center, because the more knowledge I can absorb, the more knowledge I can dish out there. But when I learned that about him, it was pretty interesting. And at first I was like, why did he care more about black men? For what? He's a white man, white intellectual. And then I started to think about it. And I started to do more research on him and notice how he was outcast by other scientists and other developers who just thought he was a rambling fool. And I was like, well, maybe that's why. Maybe because he was an outcast, he felt more comfortable speaking in front of other outcasts. Did you guys know that the refrigerator or air conditioning itself was created by a black man? Invented by a black man? Did you know that? It's pretty wild, ain't it? And yet, how many black men do we have working in the industry? Your ancestors invented this. This is our creation, air conditioning. And yet, how many of you even know that this trade exists? Like I didn't know back in 2011. Until I talked to Joe Batista, or he talked to me. He pulled me in his office to see where my head was at when I got out of jail. Make sure I wasn't doing stuff to land me back into jail. Shout to Joe Batista. Shout to Savino Russinello. Those were my male mentors. I hope in some aspect of the word I am serving as a male mentor to many other young men out there currently today. When you watch my YouTube channels or you watch my EdRec Center on my Instagram, check out my Instagram, EdRec_Center. Or when you read my LinkedIn page on the EdRec Center, my LinkedIn page is Cristino Sanabria Diaz, and you see the long list of the different accomplishments and certificates that I've obtained over the years. Hopefully one day after COVID kind of subsides and you see me in the streets and I'm talking to you face to face again like I was prior to COVID, maybe hopefully at that point I'll serve as a male mentor to somebody, and maybe hopefully I'll touch some young mind like Joe and Savino touched mine and help them redirect their course in life. That's my goal. Because I feel like our young men don't get enough attention. They don't get enough support. They don't get enough love. EdRecCenter.com, www.edreccenter.com. Check it out. Read the business plan pitch. Click a link. Sign a petition. Make a change. Because it truly, truly, truly does take a village to raise a child. And if we don't build the village to raise the child, then them streets that the kids roam in every day, by choice or not by choice, because they got to take the bus, go to the store, go grocery shopping for their mom, hit the corner store for their mom, buy a pack of cigarettes, whatever they got to do out there, they got to interact with their community or their village no matter what. So no matter what you do, parents, your kid is being raised by their village. White parents too. Because your kids go in town, they go, hang out with their friends, they go to birthday parties, whatever. They go outside, period. They go on vacations, spring break. No matter what, and no matter what cultural background you have, all of our children are being raised by this same village. It's called America. What if our village was on one page, like it used to be way back in the day before the crack pandemic, with Freeway Ricky Ross and the CIA? When your neighbor knew you, and so the 2 neighbors down, the 3 neighbors down knew you and your children. And if they saw your child outside doing something wrong, they would whip his ass or her ass, bring him back home to you, and then you whip their ass. And And the kids knew it. That's why they ain't go outside doing all this crazy stuff, because they know, shoot, I get my ass whooped by the neighbors. And they going to take me home and mama going to whoop my ass. Sorry for cursing. This one can't be for the kids. I never really put these for the kids anyway. But it's funny, you know. But that used to be our community, at least in the black and brown community. I'm sure in the white community that hasn't changed too much, but I think it has changed, not purposely, but people move around a lot nowadays more than they did back in the day. I mean, you're traveling, you're working, you know, your neighbors are moving in and out. Your neighbors that used to live there, they own the house, but they rent it out now. You know, or they sold the house because of financial hardships. It's just, I think I don't know, you're saying a fact, but my theory is every community in the United States, it maybe not in so much in the rural areas, but in any urban areas, more closer to the bigger cities, things like that. I mean, people, it's like a shuffleboard. You know, one minute you know your neighbor and the next minute you don't. To the point where you just stop trying to get to know them, because there's going to be somebody different in a couple years anyway. Shoot, you about to move, you know. So it's hard to keep that same communication with your neighbors nowadays like you used to sometimes. So I think the Everett Center will help everybody. I think it will be a great thing for everybody, and it will create a safe village for all of our children. For all of our children. And hopefully that would project itself upon the outside walls of the Everett Center into the community, where individuals, even if they're renting, will start to gain value for their living quarters. And they'll learn some stuff in a workshop at the Everett Center. Maybe they'll go back to the living quarters and do some practice, do some framing, fix some sheetrock in the house, in their apartment. Just to practice, which we would encourage them to do. Why not? Instead of putting holes in the sheetrock, letting the dog rip all through the sheetrock and tearing stuff up. And then the landlord has to pay for that and devalues the property, which devalues the neighborhood, which makes people not want to move there, which brings the crime into the neighborhood, or the individuals who want to conduct crime into the neighborhood. But if we do it the other way around, we'll start to gain value and maybe practice our workshop in the rental, start fixing the sheetrock, stuff like that, keep the value of the property up, start cleaning the trash outside of our buildings and our areas, and start caring about that, and maybe start correcting somebody else who threw some trash outside onto your property. Hey, pick that up. Pick that up, young man. And then that'll project to that young man, and maybe he'll be walking down the street one day, see somebody throw something on the track on a floor somewhere, and say, "Yo, man, why don't you pick that up, bruh? You bugging." But first, we have to plant the seed of the mindset for you to even want to make a correction like that towards another individual. Because as of right now, I'm going to tell you right now, when me growing up, I didn't care about my community. I just saw my community as another piece of land that the white man owned. I tore through these streets like a madman. But it wasn't in no harm. We was just trying to have fun. We used to do donuts in the middle of Central Ave, in cars, and racing down 280 with our lights off in the middle of the night. Just hazard lights. All the way up from West Orange down to North. Racing. On 280. Racing. All three lanes. All in ass. If the police came, we bust their ass. They couldn't catch us. That's what we did for fun. So, let's give our kids something fun to do. So they're not hauling ass down 280 in the middle of the night with their lights off, just hazards on. We turned our lights off on purpose, so if the police came, we could bust their ass with no lights on there. Never see us. Everybody had a clutch, so you don't really have to press on the brakes to slow it down. You just downshift. So they couldn't even see you slowing down. Your brake lights never come on. Just throw the EB up, hit the turn, boom, gone. They ain't even see you turn. They keep going straight. Funny. Let's give our kids something to do, man. It's productive. You know what I'm saying? The Everett Center, man. Let's teach these young kids how to use their hands to be productive, to be electricians, plumbers, HVAC technicians, car mechanics, truck mechanics, diesel mechanics. Diesel mechanics make money, big money. And some of these kids will probably be the best mechanics you can have, and we can use them. We need their help. I'm telling you from experience, we need you. I feel like Uncle Sam, we need you. We need guys. And our guys are out there, but they locked up in a jail cell somewhere for stealing somebody's car, rigging somebody's alarm, breaking into somebody's house. Those are the guys we need. But now we can't hire them because they have a certain type of record that they won't put you, because who's going to trust a house burglar to come into their house? I was a drug trafficker, but it's a little different when you're a drug trafficker. Everybody knows drug traffickers. But anyway, but if you have that on your record, nobody's going to trust you to come into their house. I wouldn't. An employer won't either, so he won't give you the job. And we lose a great mechanic, all because he didn't even know he could make money doing this, or he didn't even know he was good at this, or she. We got to save these children before the streets get them, man. We got to save these children before the streets get them. We got to start early in their life. Plant that seed early. Because once the streets get them, it's going to be hard to reverse their thinking. I can't I wouldn't feel comfortable walking to a straight drug dealer on the corner to talk about my business plan without a gun on my hip. I'm going to be real. I'm being real. Because I know what's on their mind. As soon as I walk towards them and start approaching them, number one, they like, what the fuck is this? What's up with this nigga? And they might pull out before I can even say, yo, I come in peace. So I got to be ready for that. Because if I see them reaching, I'm going to reach. Nigga be like, pow! I ain't fucking around. I got a life to live. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what I want to do. So when I hit the streets, I'm very cautious about who I approach and who I talk to. You know what I'm saying? And how I approach them. Because I understand what's on these young men's mind. And I don't blame the young men. They've already been lost to the streets. You got to let them come back on their own time, when they ready. But if I could get them before the streets get them, I really think I could touch them, man. I really do. That's why I need this platform. Because we need you out here working. We need your help. And you can make some good money. So what y'all think about the EdRec Center workshop? I think it's a real dope idea. I think our industry needs it. And if we could get them before the streets get them, oh, man, the potential. The potential. www.edreccenter.com. Check out the website, sign a petition, because it takes a village to raise a child. What we look to gain through the EdRec Center is one community, one voice. And to teach our children to be great. Because that is what they are. Thank you, and I hope you tune in again. Don't forget to subscribe. Click that button down there. It's your boy CD, and we out.